Here we go. Boom. Hey, everybody. Hey, Greg, how you doing today?
Good, Joe. How you doing?
I am fantastic. I hear that you're on vacation, and you were nice enough to take time out to give us a show, and we're going to be talking about RapidWeaver 8 today.
Yes, we're vacationing in the lovely state of Maine and calling you from the beach side.
Nice.
So, thanks for jumping on. Yeah. How's your summer going?
Pretty good. My son actually started school this week, my older son, and yeah, he's actually at his high school retreat right now. Their entire school goes off for a retreat for 3 days, and so that's where he's at right now until tomorrow. And then official classes start on Monday for him. So yeah, fun times.
Nice. Great. You ready to start diving in?
Yeah. So have you been using RapidWeaver 8 much during the beta?
Honestly, no. I've been so focused on updating Weaver picks and working on my sitemap helper for chili.dog hosting.
Okay.
That it's kind of slid under my radar a little bit. I was hoping to have Weaver tips set up for pre-launch, but life just got in the way. I've been dibbling and dabbling with it, I guess you can say. I've been poking my head in and looking around and stuff, but I haven't been able to get in as much as I would have liked to, during the beta, because they're just working at breakneck speed now. It's just feels so different than previous RapidWeaver releases. Everything feels much, tighter, more succinct. They're just executing at a much more, almost, I don't want to say mature, but consistent pace, and it's hard to keep up sometimes. They've been releasing the betas almost every week or two, so they've been.
Yeah, I'd say I'm really impressed. I think this, to pull a page from Apple's book, this is definitely the best RapidWeaver yet, right? It really is. And I have to say that not only is it the best version of RapidWeaver ever, it's, I think, the best upgrade that we've ever had in terms of the smoothness. So this was, RapidWeaver 8 was released just 2 days ago. It's Thursday, August 16th right now we're talking, and RapidWeaver 8's been out for 2 days. And I've been, for the past couple of days, really watching the forums just to make sure that, everything's going great for users. And, traditionally over the past few upgrades, there's been lots of issues with a lot of people, and they've been very vocal about it. And I have to say, this is the least number of issues that people have ever had in an upgrade. And I think some of the very minor issues that people have had, again, are very minor. And actually, Real Mac Dan's already released updates for all these, right? So 8.01 has already been released that fixed a lot of some minor things that were kind of missed during the beta test. And users are really loving it. I think it's a great update. And we could just zip through why don't we just kind of zip through the feature list a little bit and talk about kind of what our favorites are. What's your favorite new feature, Greg?
I just took my mouse away from it, but probably my favorite new feature is it's a tie, but I'll just choose one so I won't step on any of your potential shoes here.
Okay.
Probably the device simulator is probably my
you took
favorite
mine.
one.
Okay. Damn you.
Well, you have a nice list here. There's a nice list here.
Yeah.
No, it's very handy. It makes working with responsive sites and testing a lot easier. Especially, I see this going to be really, really useful when I go to test Weaver picks and try to stress test it and do that kind of work. It's going to make my experience shipping product a lot better because I feel a lot more confident about, hey, it works at all these different breakpoints on these different themes. I can really iterate and hammer my products so that they're better for everybody who uses them. I'm really like that.
Sweet. Yeah, my favorite thing about the device simulator is not only can you have one, you can actually have multiple. So I have 2 displays set up, and the simulator is perfect for that, right? So what I did is I have RapidWeaver and a couple other apps open on my main display, and then off on my secondary display, I'd set up like 5 different simulator windows. One was now I have a vertical display. My secondary display is vertical, so it's rotated. And luckily, the height of that display, or the width, because I have it vertical, is the same as the width of a 15-inch MacBook Pro. So it's the same number of pixels. So I kind of have that on the bottom, kind of stretched across the entire display, and then above that, I had like all 3 different iPhone sizes and an iPad Pro. Now the iPad Pro took a little bit, so there was some overlap with the iPhone things, but it's a really great little setup. So as soon as I'm making changes inside Stacks in edit mode, I don't need to preview, push nothing. All those live simulator windows update immediately, right? Or after, it takes a couple seconds after I make a setting change, but they just kind of update in the background, so I don't need to worry about it. And whenever I'm ready to go look at some changes that I've made, I just glance over to my secondary display, and then I can see all the simulator windows, and I can interact with each and every single one of them independently. It's really, really cool.
Yes, agree. It's going to make my testing in my life so much better.
Yep.
Really excited.
And also, like, the old workflow of using the preview built into RapidWeaver, it still exists, right? But like flip-flopping between, my fingers still do it sometimes where you just hit Command R. It's like boom, 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 right? But having those simulator windows already open and loaded just seems faster, right? Because you're making your changes. You don't need to worry about the complete thing kind of refreshing. And you don't need to worry about, adjusting the size of the preview window inside RapidWeaver if you want to look at iPhone or whatever. It's already there pre-made. So I think it's a lot faster. It might take some people a little bit of time to get used to that new workflow, but I think it's a lot better. And now if you don't have 2 screens like I did, or like I have on my Mac Pro, what I did on my laptop, because I only have 1 screen, is I created a new desktop. So, in Spaces. So I use RapidWeaver on one desktop, and then I set up a separate desktop that contains a couple different simulator windows. So when I want to preview, I just use the gesture on the trackpad, swipe over to the second desktop, and then there's my simulator windows. So preview is just a quick swipe away, and I can have multiple simulator windows right there on that other desktop.
Oh, that's cool. Can you pin those? I haven't tried this. Can you pin those simulator windows to a different desktop?
Yeah. So you just in Spaces, you just create a new desktop, and then you can like any other app, you can move those simulator windows to any desktop you want, and then you could just use Spaces to swipe between them.
Will they get pinned there so that when you quit RapidWeaver and reopen them, does it come back up?
No, that's actually a feature request I have for Dan, is so that when you open that project again, like it'll remember the simulator windows that you had and then relaunch them. I think that would be nice.
Yeah. Cool. We'll see. We'll look forward to 8.02, maybe 8.02 or 8.1. Yeah.
So what's your second? What's my favorite? I didn't even say my favorite. I just went off on the device simulator. Yeah. What's my next favorite after the device simulator? I'm going to say the web icon generator. So I think this is really nice. I have promoted on this podcast before. We talked about, I think it's realfaveicongenerator.com or something like that, right? And, I've used that, you upload, one PNG or whatever, and it generates, all the various sizes and the meta tags for you for all those sizes to put into your website, right? And so I sent that to Dan there in the beta. I'm like, dude, we need this in RapidWeaver. Like a user needs to be able to just upload one icon and boom, and RapidWeaver just automatically creates all the various sizes you need and all the meta tags. And it does that now, right? So the new web icon generator is really cool. Now, if you provide the largest icon, the iPhone Retina, you can actually, it can auto-generate that icon for you for everything. But if you specifically create different icons for other things and drag them into those wells, you can then override the default one, right? So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Either you can have, you can create your icon once and let RapidWeaver auto-generate the others for you, or if you really want to be specific about sizing and looks, you can create, special ones for every single size and then individually add those to the various, wells in the web icon thing. And then RapidWeaver adds all those meta tags for you automatically directly in the head, right? So you don't need to worry about that. So it's really, really nice. I think it's a great feature.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's definitely very handy. Make sure you're doing the right things and have it nice and automated for users.
Yep. Hey, Greg, what's next up for you?
The most interesting and powerful thing that this is something that makes me a little uneasy because I see this as like a double-edged sword, is the htaccess editor, because it's really cool, really powerful, but it's enough rope that you can really break your site. So I do a lot of stuff with htaccess. I set up my redirects in the htaccess. Mm-hmm. I should tell users who are listening, using the htaccess can be hosting dependent on what you're publishing and what code you're putting in there. So be careful, because if you have a cut and paste some random code that you find on the internet to do something, and some Apache module is not installed, you have a typo in a name, you have an invisible character that's in there or something like that, but you end up with a 500 server error. And most people get confused by that, in that they think the hosting is broken, when really it's the server saying that it can't understand what you're trying to tell it to do. Mm-hmm. So, I do a lot of stuff with htaccess. I'll block, filter out, bad robots. I'll filter out bad requests. I'll do redirects. I'll enable compression, gzip compression for things. So I'm probably a little more technical than some of our viewers and some of our listeners, but I think that htaccess editor is awesome.
Sweet.
And it saves me a bunch of time of trying to manually do those kind of things and have a copy and paste it from another project into another site that I have to dig up. So,
yeah, I thought it was really interesting that they added kind of version control into that as well. So like when you edit the file, it kind of saves up, your previous versions that you edited. I thought that's a good one. That's a great feature.
Yes. All right, you're up.
Next one. I'm going to have to go with a lot of the new Open Graph and social media meta tags. I think this is sort of similar to the web icon stuff because it creates meta tags, right? But now if you go into the page inspector and then go to the meta tags tab there, you'll see that there's tons of stuff in there now, right? And it handles like all the social sharing, so that when you share your URL on social media like Facebook or Twitter or pretty much everything like Slack and all that stuff uses Open Graph tags now to get information about the page that you put in the wherever you shared it. And so it gets title, description, you can have an image, right? And it's just great that it's now all in there. You don't need to know the meta tag syntax, because before you had to actually know the proper syntax, and you can add the meta tags, but you had to know exactly the actual code to do, right? And there's stuff like my SEO helper stack in Foundation that helps you add those as well. But it's nice that it's baked into RapidWeaver now, since everyone is going to want that. I think it's just another really good, convenient thing to have, so that it's on every single page and whatnot. One thing that I do hope they add, I hadn't requested this yet. I'll make sure I send Dan a note today. I'd love to see those in the site-wide code area as well. So I think that'd be cool because there's a meta tag, panel in the site-wide code. And I think having, creating like a default for various, open graph tags for a page would be great in the site-wide area. And then you can override that on the page level for all the other stuff. So I think that'd be cool. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm definitely in favor of doing it right and doing it once. So I think your idea is valid. It might be nice to add it over there too.
Yeah, I don't know. Does it make sense? Like, I don't know if social media really wants to have different meta tags on every single page. I think that's just a lot of work. I think just creating a default and then maybe overriding it on a specific page level just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think you only really need on your homepage. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't add it really to my other pages. Well, I guess if you wanted like a screenshot, if you wanted like when you paste it into Twitter and you wanted it to have a certain screenshot, I guess. Then yeah. So I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so I agree.
Yeah. Like if I had, different product pages, you maybe you want the screenshot from that product for that if you were to share the URL for that product page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool, Greg. You're up. What's your next feature?
This may sound petty, but I'm really looking forward to it. In Mojave is dark mode.
Are you running Mojave?
I am not running Mojave.
Okay.
No.
I am. I have it running on my laptop, and I am running in dark mode, and it is nice.
Yes. I imagine it is. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so I don't want to go off on too much of a Mojave tangent, but there's a couple issues still in dark mode that I hope Apple would have fixed by now. Like when I create a new email in mail.app in dark mode, it's black text on a dark background, and it's almost impossible to like read what you're typing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Joe. Maybe you have something a little more substantial for the bike.
So another interesting thing is the new Unsplash integration. So it's kind of tightly coupled. It's in the resources manager, which I won't go into that. Maybe Greg can pick that one next. So inside the resources manager, you can access Unsplash. So Unsplash is a stock image site. And you could just scroll through and there's just tons, an infinite amount of images that you could just drag directly into your site, right? I think this is great if you're just, mocking up a page and you just want some simple, free, nice stock photos to use. It's great. I mean, you could just drag them and drop them directly onto your page. And it's just a convenient way of accessing and having, ready access to stock photos. It's awesome.
Yeah, Unsplash is a good pick. I'll just say I left that one for you.
Oh, you know what? I just tested something. I didn't even know it worked. So in the resources manager, there's a search box, and you can actually search Unsplash as well. Like I just thought, I didn't think that search box worked with Unsplash. I just figured it worked for searching through your resources or whatnot. But that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's slick.
Searching for cookies, and I got a lot of nice, delicious cookies in there.
I search for coffee.
Oh, that's a good one too. They complement each other. See, just like
just like our podcast.
There you go.
All right, what's next up for you, Greg?
What's next up for me? I'm really, I guess, besides the resource manager, I'm really like how they've laid out and updated the UI. It kind of feels like grasping for straws, but I kind of remember the RapidWeaver 6 days, and having to upgrade from those versions into like the newer versions, and this one just so much smoother. The layout, I think the organization of the settings are a lot nicer.
Yep. Yeah, I like how
Everything
the
feels
advanced
better.
the advanced settings are no longer like hidden in general, right? I mean, you don't need to go to general
Right,
then
right.
advanced. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this one, I guess my next favorite thing is just the transition to 8 is a lot better in my mind, and the layout organization of the UI is a lot cleaner and more better organized. So
Yeah, that theme drawer finally gone. The theme drawer is dead.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes,
the theme has a nice little popover UI now. And yeah, you can nicely search through and sort and look for themes by particular developer name and stuff like that. It's really nice.
Yes. Yes, it is. Interesting though. The themes are popover, and then the resources are a new window.
Yeah, well, I think the reason for that is you might want to leave the resources window open so you can access it a lot. So you're not constantly clicking the popover to open it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
something like the themes is you're going to go in there once, you're going to set the theme for your project, and that's pretty much it. Right. But the resources you're going to be going back and forth to. So having it as a permanent window, I think actually makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does. And the page inspector is always a popover though.
The page inspector? I have it
Page
docked.
inspector.
You can have it as a popover. There's a button to make it a pop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the very last tab in the page inspector,
Yeah.
you can have it as a pop-up window, or you can have it docked in the. I go for the docked view, so it's a single window. I like having as few windows as possible, but yeah.
That's new, right?
It's
remember that in
different.
7.
It worked a little bit differently in 7. I think they improved it, and it's better now. Yeah. Before there was a button in the toolbar that allowed you to, or I don't remember exactly what it was now, but you could do that before. But I've always had it docked.
Yeah, I always have it docked too.
Yeah.
Just yeah. Cool. So what about you?
So next, I guess I'll mention the resource. We kind of, talked about the resources. I talked about Unsplash, and you can access all your photos and whatnot. And then, it's different. Before in RapidWeaver 7 and previous versions, all your resources were like in the sidebar, on the left. And, but now there's this entire dedicated window where you can drag, images or whatever resources you want into there. And you can have a nice view of all the resources for your project. You can actually create folders in there, and then, in subfolders, and add, resources into those folders. And, so it's really nice. And then, obviously all of those resources get uploaded, when you upload your site. So, it's nice. It's definitely a very good improvement to previous versions, if you use resources. I do have to admit, I don't really use resources very often. I tend to just create a warehouse folder. Most of the time I call it depot on my sites, and then I just upload stuff using transmit or whatever, and then I can figure out the URLs myself. But yeah, I could see it definitely being a benefit to have, for users that don't. That warehousing is kind of over their head a little bit. That having a nice resources view, baked into RapidWeaver is really great. It really is.
Yes. Cool. I don't know what else to.
So next, I have a couple more. So
You have a couple more. Okay.
yeah. So another actually kind of meta tag-ish thing. Which will be nice, is you can now set the site language in RapidWeaver. So previously, RapidWeaver, prior to 8, the theme set the language in the HTML declaration, right? And most of the time, most themes were set to English because that's what most RapidWeaver users speak. And there were other ways, like in Foundation, I have a way of overriding that, and then I use JavaScript to kind of change that so the browser knows what language it is, but it wasn't baked into the HTML, right? So now you can actually set your language, and it is a site-wide setting, but I noticed that Dan, a user suggested having that be a page-specific setting as well, so you can override the language on a per-page basis, which makes sense because there are a lot of users that do multi-language sites. So it would be nice to be able to define a language and customize it on a page-by-page basis. And Dan thought that was a great idea on the forum already and said that they'll add that in a future update. So that's really cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. Next up, I think, is some privacy stuff. I think this is the last thing that I could think of is the privacy stuff. So there's two different privacy things. There's some new GDPR compliance stuff, right? So if you go to there's a privacy tab in RapidWeaver now, kind of where all the settings are for your project, and you can show a privacy message, and it'll like put up a little pop-up window so that users can click accept and whatnot. And so yeah, that's kind of nice. There is a setting in there called anonymized requests to third-party servers. Okay, now this is a nice setting. It definitely adds security. It allows it so that let's say I am putting on some sort of external script onto my page. Okay, what this does is it adds a meta tag that tells tells the browser. Let's say I'm loading Google Analytics. Okay, and what it will do is the browser will not send the domain information to Google if you have that checked, right? So, and that's true for anything. It could be if you're loading Google, web fonts, or if you're loading Discuss comments or any other type of, widget that's getting loaded from an external domain. With that checkbox checked, it won't send information about your URL along with the request. Now this seems great, but it did cause me a couple days of headache because I had that checked, and on my, I'm working on the new website design, and I'm using fonts from Hoffler from typography.com, and I was getting 403. All of a sudden, like I was getting access denied to my fonts, and I was like, what in the world is going on? And so after a couple days, I was a little unfair to Hoffler. I blamed them. I was a little tough with them. And it turned out it was this checkbox. So basically what happens is Hoffler, licenses font files for your domain. So what they do is, along with the request, traditionally the domain information is sent along with that request. So Hoffler can then check, oh, I'm getting this request from WeaverSpace. Oh, okay, good. I can send this. And then, but with that checkbox checked, it wasn't sending any domain data. So they were like, I don't know who you are, access denied, right? So yeah, that caused me a little bit of headache. I mean, it would be great. Browsers, all this stuff is pretty new. So browser detection, it just told me access denied. It didn't tell me that it was kind of the browser's fault because of its security policy, But yeah, anyway, it's a good setting. But if you find things break, such as web fonts, like Typekit probably works exactly the same. So if you're using Typekit or Hoffler or some other service that might require to know your domain information, be careful of that checkbox.
Good tip. Good tip. Cool. So yeah, you've been building you have more experience with 8 than I do, because I've been focused on Chili hosting products and Weaver picks and stuff. So I haven't been actively building page in it lately. So I've been doing it from much more of a developer's perspective than necessarily a user's perspective. So
yep. Yeah. My entire site is built in RapidWeaver 8 now. The new site, at least.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how that's going, and
it's going really good. So we're definitely launching at the conference now this year. So at the WeaverSpace conference, September 7th, I'm going to be unveiling it to the users there. We'll definitely have it done by then. Actually, I hope to have it kind of pretty much done by next week. We are really, really close to having it all done. So I won't have any issues getting it all done by the conference. So that'll be nice to be able to unveil it to the world at the conference. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Nice. Do you want to talk about the conference real quick?
So
big show.
Yep. Yeah, the conference is coming up September 7th to the 9th. We have 16 speaking slots now. We added a last one because Greg and I are closing out the conference with a live WeaverRadio podcast just to talk about the conference and the sessions and what we got out of it. Thought that would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to be doing a talk right before that closing session about the future of RapidWeaver design and kind of give you a glimpse of behind the scenes of how I'm making the new WeaverSpace website, because it's pretty revolutionary. So we have a lot of great speakers coming up. I think the overlying theme really for this year's conference is, while we do have a lot of great how-to sessions for beginners all the way to advanced users. Actually, Greg, I got to talk to you about Paul. Paul's going to be doing a how to set up a website domain from A to Z from scratch. And obviously, we're going to get your help to show how people to do that through, Chili Dog hosting and their cPanel and whatnot. So that'll be nice. But the overlying theme of the conference is I really want to help people build better web design businesses, right? So I know a lot of people, either they're full-time already or they want to be, they're, aspiring freelance designers. So, I have a lot of great sessions about, from people like Justin Eastle, John Hawkins, Elizabeth Martinez. I actually have those three along with Nick Cates. They're going to do a panel, and we're going to be fielding, user questions about how they run their freelance design businesses, because all of those guys run top-notch web design businesses that are making, that are successful, right? So, getting their feedback and asking direct questions to them will be pretty awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, and I also got a lot of other outside of the box people, right? So, like for instance, I got this guy named Andy Bengal. He's known as the Ad Viking, and I know Facebook marketing is kind of big now. And I thought, having a session on that would be good. And, my buddy, Jeff McMahon, he's a virtual trainer. And basically what it does is he's a personal trainer, but he trains people virtually. And so I thought, it'd be really great for him to do a talk on, how we can, a lot of us probably pay for gym memberships and never use them. And he's going to kind of show us how we can be fit from home and not have to, pay lots of money to gyms. And obviously, if we're healthier and more fit, we're going to have more energy and we're going to be better, right? So I think I named the title like Better Fitness, Better Business, right? So that was kind of cool. And then lastly, I got kind of a celebrity actually, David Sparks, also known as Mac Sparky, right? He does a lot of like automation, and he does the Mac Power Users podcast, which is like ultra successful. And so I'm really excited. He's going to be talking, but he's actually not going to be talking about what you probably think he might. He's not going to be talking about Mac and geeky stuff. He's going to be talking about the legal side of websites, and because he is a lawyer. So I thought that would be interesting, kind of get a view from a lawyer in terms of, what we should be doing to, from a legal perspective for our websites. So I thought that'd be fun. Sorry for going off on that tangent.
No, it's fine. I definitely agree. It's definitely nice to be able to think differently on, stretch your brain a little bit, and look at things in a different way. So
yep,
it's nice to have that variety in there.
Yeah. Because
that's cool.
The past couple conferences, I've really done a lot of how-to sessions. And and there's already a ton of how-to sessions on YouTube and, in tutorials and whatnot. So I want to give, a chance for this conference to be something that you might not look into on your own, right? Because, a lot of times, you're stuck in your day-to-day grind and you're like, how do I do this? How do I do that? But you're not going to look up, and learn how to do Facebook marketing or, look into, various other topics, right? So that's what I wanted to bring to this conference is stuff that is outside of the box of what you would look for on a day-to-day basis. But hopefully it's going to all still benefit you even more so than, a how-to tutorial will.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that makes our value, that makes individuals' values that what they do unique, right? Not what you do like everybody else. It's what you do differently. that makes sense.
Cool. So
sounds like you got a good show lined up, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
I look forward to chatting with you at the end.
Sweet, me too. It's your daughter's birthday, right? Sorry, I didn't plan that well with you.
Yeah, it might be Saturday or I haven't looked. It might be that Sunday. It might be that Saturday. Something like that. Yeah. It is my daughter's birthday.
Okay. Well, we'll have to sing her happy birthday.
Yes. It is Sunday. It is Sunday. So yes, it will be my daughter's birthday.
Cool. Well, Greg.
And you have the video published. You have the videos published that night too, right?
Yes. So yeah, I'm going to try really hard to get all the videos uploaded the night of the conference. So each day I'm going to upload them that night. So I should have everything uploaded the day of the conference. So, right after the conference is over, you can, if you missed anything or if, people that got tickets hadn't been able to watch, you couldn't attend live, you can watch them at your leisure whenever you want.
Where do people buy tickets?
They get them at RapidWeaverConference.com, Greg. Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, no problem.
So RapidWeaver 8,
all right,
just
Joe.
in closing. Hey, actually, here's a good question. Do you have any known issues or stuff with your things in RapidWeaver 8? Or you expect everything to work good?
I'm expecting everything to work well. I've only had one ticket regarding fix, so I'm just tracking an issue there. I need clarification, but otherwise things have been pretty smooth.
Okay.
How about you?
No, I had one issue right before they launched in the betas, and I think I'm not exactly sure what it was. In RapidWeaver 8, the minify CSS and JavaScript button, they unchecked that, and all of a sudden it worked. I didn't really get a chance to look into that yet, exactly what exactly caused that particular issue. But for the most part, I've had zero other issues with users. Everyone seems to be working great with Foundation and Total CMS and all the other stacks. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Greg. Thanks for taking time out of your vacation and doing this episode.
My pleasure, Joe. Thanks for chatting.
Sweet. Where in the interwebs can people find you?
ChiliDogHosting.com and ChiliDogSoftware.com and at Barshard on Twitter.
Sweet. I'm at Joe Workman everywhere. You can reach me at weavers.space. Head over to the community, join the WeaverRadio. We have a live group inside the Weaver Space community. I post every single episode there. Make sure you post comments or questions. Obviously, you can also email us to feedback@weaverradio.com. Check out all of our archives at weaverradio.com as well. And make sure you check out and submit us a review at iTunes. That'd be great, just because, we need some love. So go ahead and take some time. Let us know what you think on the community and on iTunes so that other people can enjoy this podcast as well. Sweet. So thank you, everybody. What'd you say, Greg?
Oh, I just said, yes, we love hearing from everybody. So send us your feedback.
We love it.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool, Greg. Well, thank you very much. You take care, bud.
You too, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Catch you next time. Bye.